So we just picked up our Barnacled Ruin here, or not Ruin, but Rune rather. So we have a couple of options before us. We head down deeper into Lair. Still haven't finished the last floor there at least, or we could immediately head over to Spider. I mean, I feel like Lair is probably a decent spot for us to get back into the swing of things, remember how exactly this run is piloted. Though I think I have a decent recollection of just using this ridiculously powerful trident as much as possible. Nice vamp trident, and of course Gargoyle defenses means that we don't have to rely too much on spells, but we do have a lot of pretty dang solid options there as well. So hopefully we can get back into it here. How's the tourney treating me? Hey, Mystic Sailboat, I didn't actually know there was a tourney going on right now. You just got your first win today. Congrats, that's awesome. I should be checking that out, because I am excited for some of the trunk changes in 0.32, so would be a good opportunity to try it out. In fact, potentially I should have upgraded in general before continuing the run today, but it is what it is. I mean, besides, I usually try to update between runs instead of in the middle of one, just in case it has some kind of effect on the way things shake out. But I'll have to keep that in mind. The tourney's on, that is. And I don't know, I haven't been able to participate too much in the last few tournaments. Usually get like a game in, if even have time to complete a full run. But I at the very least like to take a peek at how others are doing, especially some of the other cool cats who stream the game, like Wizard. Especially Wizard always doing so well in the tournament makes it kind of exciting to see how things are going on their end. But I'll have to take a look. Thanks for letting me know, honestly. Otherwise, I am very out of the loop. Oh, hello, my friends. Quite the interesting grouping here. None of this should be a problem, though. Gotta love that Vampiric Brand. Book of Weapons. Doesn't exactly have much that interests us, but we'll still pick it up, obviously. Who knows what kind of spell hijinks we'll get into as the run continues on here today. I can't even tell what the special theme is for this end of Lair. I don't really recognize anything is standing out to me in that regard. Ring of Protection? No, thank you, not today. Guess we are still using the Ring of the Hair, are we? We are indeed. Plus 10 evasion is nice, I guess. Especially on a character like this that normally wouldn't be expecting much from the old dodging side of things. I guess maybe the Dream Sheep are what was special about this lair ending the whole time. Honestly, couldn't really tell ya. We'll drop down. So Cloud's here just to help mop up the rest of our friends, make sure that nothing untoward happens in our general direction. Okay, I was about to say this was actually a terrible spot to step, because I was kind of lining myself up to be trapped in calcifying dust with no way to leave it. And at the moment, I just find myself blanking on how much of an effect that has on a gargoyle. We're already made of stone, so I could see it being a bit of flavor that we're resistant to, but for whatever reason, my brain is not supplying me with previous experiences in that department. But regardless, let us just finish off the last little bit of the floor here. Plus 7 quarterstaff of the mind. No thank you, but I appreciate it. And with that, we do a very quick clear of the final lair floor, and so I guess it is just onwards for honor and glory here. Probably to Spider. I could potentially dip into Elf briefly, but that goes outside of our usual kind of sequence, our usual order of operations. So let's check out Spider's Nest and see how things go, shall we? At the very least, Freezing Cloud should do pretty solidly down there. Irradiate is, I mean, just always an amazing addition to your spellbook, but especially when we just need to potentially try and clear out a group of enemies surrounding us, then that will be invaluable. Yes, I will drop this here. Does land on top of me, so probably actually just take these kiddos on a little bit of a world tour, bring them out into the lair as they've never seen it before. And this might be a bit of a problem. So let's make sure we don't do anything too silly there. And in fact, what we can potentially do instead, send out some orbs of destruction ourselves. See how she goes. If the broodmother starts summoning too many spiders here, then we'll just head upstairs and bring them with us. But fortunately, it does not end up being a consideration we have to deal with here at the moment. Let us bring you in once more, though, my friend. And in fact, why not finish them off with a bit of a radiate action? That does the trick nicely. Beautiful. Cannot recall at the moment. Do we have any see invisible? We do. So ghost moths aren't going to be a complete mystery if they end up showing their mugs around here. So that is wonderful. And I think I will again play this safe, especially with the snail around. I don't really want to take any unnecessary risks while we're slowed like that, and instead we can just take this kiddo upstairs. It's that kind of risk that I was worried about. Orbs of destruction raining in while you're slowed is not exactly an ideal scenario, but we can, on the other hand, freeze this son of a gun, dodge the orb of destruction using a bit of terrain to our advantage. Wonderful. And with that, hopefully we've kind of broken ground here in Spider, and hopefully be a little more, I don't know, confident moving forward is what I was going to say, but that feels like some fledgling hubris in the works. So instead, let's just assume nothing and hope for the best, shall we? Keep throwing orbs of destruction at the rad roach as they make their approach. That is wonderful. And that should do the trick. Not our best encounter against our orb spider there, but all's well that ends well. And at the very least, we've proven that in a 1v1 fight, we can pretty much keep up with anything and everything down this direction. And on top of that, even in slightly more dense groups of enemies, we still do okay for ourselves. As long as we're supplementing all of that good stuff with the occasional spell here or there just to ensure some level of consistent safety, then we should be beautiful moving forward. Amulet of Guardian Spirit, no thank you. And definitely would like to just roast and toast our Entropy Weaver friend there before they get any funky ideas of corroding us beyond all reason. And that should just about do the trick. Bit of a strange spider lair, I guess, to clear out beforehand, but should be but a moment for us here. And wonderful. Yeah, overall not too bad, but we do want to keep in mind that this felt like a very simple spider one. Things can get a whole lot hairier than this, especially as we've seen in previous runs in Spider 4. Everything can very, very quickly get out of hand. So we'll just try to keep that in mind as I design this rhyme to explain in due time. And all of that good stuff. 20 gold pieces. I got worried about electricity there for a second, kind of forgetting what kind of character I was playing. Oh me oh my, it is nice to be a gargoyle for sure. And we will continue to drop some lovely clouds. No reason for us to really fight the tarantulas. I mean, ideally, confusion won't be too much of an issue. We have at least 8 curing potions. It's not an incredible cornucopia of solutions by any means, but should be enough to get us through without too much issue. Especially, again, if we just make sure that we're supplementing that as necessary here. Melee, go down nice and quick with some undodgeable attacks. You do just love to see it. In fact, let's keep the ball rolling here. No need to look this gift horse in the mouth, and instead we can just appreciate the lovely damage output we have going for us here. Anyone else? Is there no one else? And I guess that's all of our MPs, so that's something that I'm definitely already kind of out of practice to, is maintaining or at least paying some amount of attention to our mana pool here. So let's make sure that we don't take that for granted moving forward as well. Though it can be very tempting to just spam the ever-living crap out of spells that are working that well for sure. Ring of Positive Energy. I mean, not super necessary because we have a little bit of resistance to negative energy as an innate feature of the Gargoyle here. But being able to stack that up a little bit might be nice. No, I feel like positive energy rings are something that I try to keep in my inventory on almost every run, but I very rarely actually end up using it too deeply. Well, that's one way to take care of a ghost moth. I guess the perks of being able to see invisible means that we can actually prepare, and it lends itself well to taking care of those problems before they actually evolve into a real issue. So that is lovely. Take you a little bit away from our Scorpion King friend. And in fact, want to be a little bit careful of said friend here. Just with that many healers around, I wouldn't be surprised if they were able to outpace us in terms of damage, but fortunately don't have to worry about that too much, and we get through without a huge struggle. Son of a gun. This ghost moth is not going to be quite so straightforward to deal with. They also do have resist cold. Who gave you that? That doesn't seem fair in the slightest. Well, in that case, let's hopefully succeed in an ignition. And then at the very least, you know, don't know what I was thinking. I thought I had enough time to take a couple steps away and still shoot off an orb of destruction here or there, but no dice. No such luck. But at the very least, we'll try to take care of the rest of the problems here as they come up. I don't like Melee showing up in the distance, especially as we continually get more and more corroded. So let's maybe slow our roll slightly here. In fact, best off probably just dropping some ice clouds on those sons of guns, making sure they don't get too many smites off in the interim period. And Boulder Beetle, I was gonna say, probably won't be a problem. Yikes. Because -8 corrosion is not exactly chump change here. Do I want to use one of my very few blink scrolls? Probably not, so let's instead go with the fear, just get those kiddos off our back. Might have been a slightly wasted use of that consumable, but hey, better safe than sorry. Would rather live to fight another day than not swallow our pride and feel the wrath of the dungeon, as it punishes in a very fair way in that example at least. Let's drop that on you. Rage when I'm surrounded by cold clouds, not exactly how you want to live your life. Fortunately, no one's around to take advantage of it in any meaningful capacity, so that is lovely. The other thing I'm taking a peek at here, though, is I would like to clear up some inventory space, and grab this buckler. Beautiful. So let's recap at where we're at the moment here, shall we? We're training our fire magic, trying to continue to bring this ignition failure rate down a little bit further to feel safe. So we can probably sprinkle in just a smidge of shields training. At least to the point of getting that buckler online, and then we'll worry about the plans for the future after that. Contaminate this son of a gun. Beautiful. That was a good example of the fact that Emperor Scorpion's still potentially an issue for us here. Oof. Yikes. Speaking of issues for us, good old Marcus. So there goes all of our magic. Hopefully we don't need that anytime soon, I guess. And at least block line of sight with most of these sons of guns. Entropy Weaver coming up. Still a little bit of a problem child, as it were. But if we get a little bit lucky with our cold clouds, hopefully that can take care of a lot of our problems here. And beautiful. Not too bad. Live to tell another tale despite Mark Trap coming down, or it's not so much a trap rather than the, was it malevolent forces as we've come to know and love them. But not too shabby still. Making good progress in terms of time as well, already down to Spider's Nest 3. You do just love to see it. I thought that battle of attrition may go on in perpetuity there, but eventually sorts itself out as we get another Mark Trap. What the heck is going on today? I guess better to have it happen on Spider 3 twice than Spider 4. No, that's not really how the probabilities work, and good chance that we end up witnessing and dealing with it again down here regardless, but one can dream, I guess. You know what? I will risk another ignition. Just does some really solid work for us. In fact, can take these kiddos on a little bit of a world tour. Excuse me. My throat starts to potentially give me some issues here today. Now that was a satisfying ignition. Not that it really goes any other way. Generally, if you're casting the spell, you're in a pretty good spot and feeling pretty happy with things overall. Especially as we continue to bring that failure rate down to a reasonable level here. Definitely throw out the irradiate as well whenever necessary, and that is wonderful. Ooh, we're no longer in danger fail territory. Fantastic, my friends. Let's let the simulacrum effect wear off there on the Emperor Scorpion, though I did see another Pharaoh Ant showing up, so it might be inevitable at the end of the day here. Grab some sips for my drink, try and keep our whistle lubricated here. I've only really in the past, heard people use that terminology when they're talking. I guess the phrase like wet your whistle. Weird to call your mouth a whistle outside of that context, but I guess we'll just have to roll with it. Die has been cast and all that good stuff. Such are the highs and lows, the ebbs and flows of streaming, I guess. There we go, making themselves good targets again as just a slew of our old friends showing up. Oh, I got hit by a mark effect at some point. That would do it. Suddenly the world makes sense again. Let's take this kiddo upstairs. And I should probably head to a different stairwell. No, I'm gonna risk it one more time. Not ideal with multiple ghost moths showing up. Definitely head upstairs. And we'll just see. So far able to out heal the damage that's coming in. Wonderful. What else did we leave behind there? The Sun Moth is just an issue insofar as Ignition is not gonna get the job done, but otherwise shouldn't be too much of an issue still overall. Stop, drop, and roll for a moment there. And otherwise, I guess, rinse, repeat, and keep going at her here. Not too shabby. In fact, I'm just gonna spam Ignition against even just a couple of friends. At the very least, when we take them upstairs, we know that we're not gonna have a slew of enemies descending upon us at any moment, so we can feel a little bit more secure in just throwing every single resource we have at the problem. At least every single rechargeable resource that we have. And a torpor snail. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Ooh, and we get a bit of confusion coming in right as we try to leave. Fortunate timing, I guess, at the end of the day. And definitely in the vein of keeping ourselves safe here, bring our snail friend on a little bit of an adventure. Beautiful. That should pretty much do the trick, right? How many more spiders could we be hiding around the corner here? Hello, Brain. How's it going? Hope things have been well on your end, friend. Been a while. Potions of degeneration. Wow, we still have some garbage that we're lugging around. How about that? The chores never end. Okay, it was pretty much every spider that was waiting for us in the end vault that decided to come say hello. Fantastic. Ooh, and a blink scroll. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Let's definitely step behind a spider pal so we don't take that orb to the face. Holy moly. I guess the downside of being the gargoyle is with our health pool being what it is, can very quickly find ourselves in a bit of a spot of hot water. Nothing we can't deal with. A ring of slain. Don't really see us switching over to anytime soon, but I guess it's still nice to have. Variety is the spice of life and all that good stuff. And here, let's duel you and I. Fortunately, I can't dish what they're putting out there. This orb spider has written a cat. Let me try that again. Has written a check that their ass can't cash. There we go. That's what we were going for. And not too shabby here. Ooh, as we hit 22 in fire magic. What else do we want? I mean, fighting could come back on. Speaking of our low HP pool, that seems like it'd be useful. In fact, while we're at it, let's bring spell casting online as well. I would probably like to train more Evo, more shields. I'll take a look at our spell list as well to see what our next best option is on that side of the equation. It will likely be summoning, if I had to guess. I mean, a bit more conjurations would be nice to bring this down to a more reasonable level, but more important than that, we are currently awaiting Spellforge Servitor as one of our big upcoming options in the future, so could probably start to get that online. Feel more experienced. Perfect. Gotta love those blind orb kills, and not too shabby. That is spider cleared out. Fantastic. So we're pretty much ready to go into vaults. Would be our usual routine here. We're a little low in the willpower, but should be decent enough. At least not great chances of being banished. If we are banished, then might be in a wee bit of trouble, to say the least, but we'll burn that bridge when we get there. Do I want the Book of Blasting? I mean, IMB would have been nice to have in a couple of those circumstances, just to get ourselves some breathing room, some space as it were, but not the end of the world. I guess, you know what, let's actually head that way before I forget to do so, and we can just make sure to grab that son of a gun. We got plenty of expendable cash on us at the moment. Ooh, Necronomicon, hey? So survival utility spells, we'd have to do a lot of training for it, so not likely to get fully online in a 3-rune game, at least not when taken into consideration with the other skills that we already kind of want to get going. Let's focus those, and then I think we will put on summoning, just puttering away in the background, see how that does, how quickly it levels up at the -1 aptitude.